Have you ever stopped for a moment and asked yourself a simple but uncomfortable question? Is money really just a tool, or is it something much bigger that quietly shapes the direction of your entire life without you even noticing? Most people never question it because from the moment they grow up, they are placed inside a system that feels completely normal. You are taught a simple formula: work hard, earn money, spend it, and repeat. It sounds fair, it sounds logical, and it feels like life is naturally organized this way. But what if this normal system is not as neutral as it appears? Because money is not just currency or numbers on a screen. It is a structure that defines what feels possible and what feels impossible in your life. It doesn't directly tell you what to do. Instead, it creates conditions around you in which only certain choices feel realistic over time. And that is where real control begins. Not through force, but through shaping reality itself. When people think about control, they imagine something obvious: orders, restrictions, pressure, someone standing above you telling you what to do. But real control does not look like that. Real control is invisible. It doesn't push you directly. It guides you silently. It doesn't remove your choices. It reduces them gradually until only specific paths feel natural. Think about your daily life. Why do most people wake up at the same time every day? Why do they follow routines they never truly designed? Why do they stay in jobs they don't enjoy, or continue doing things that don't fully satisfy them? On the surface, it looks like discipline or responsibility. But underneath that surface, there is something deeper working constantly: financial dependency. Because when survival depends on income, freedom stops being absolute. It becomes conditional. You are no longer choosing purely based on desire. You are choosing based on necessity. And necessity slowly becomes your invisible boundary. This is the first layer of control: dependency that feels like responsibility. Now look deeper at the environment around you. Prices are not just numbers written on products. They are psychological signals. They tell you what is normal, what is expensive, and what is not for you. And over time, your brain begins to accept these signals without question. If something is consistently expensive, your mind removes it from possibility. Not because it is impossible, but because it feels unrealistic. And if something is cheap and constantly visible, it becomes part of your everyday reality without resistance. Slowly, your entire perception of life becomes filtered, not by actual reality, but by what feels accessible within your financial range. And that creates invisible boundaries in your mind that you rarely notice. Now think about careers and education. Why do so many people end up in similar fields? Why do they choose stability over passion? Why do they abandon ideas they once loved deeply? It is easy to say responsibility, but the deeper truth is survival pressure. Because when money becomes necessary for stability, your decisions are no longer fully free. They are shaped by urgency. Certain careers pay more, certain paths feel safer, and naturally people move toward them, not because they are forced, but because the system quietly makes those paths the most logical choice. This is control through design, not command. Now go deeper into something even more powerful: debt. Debt is not just money you owe. It is a psychological structure that ties your present to your future. When you are in debt, your thinking changes without you noticing. You become more careful, more restricted, more predictable. You avoid risk, you avoid uncertainty, you avoid change. Because every decision is now connected to repayment, deadlines, and financial pressure. And the more debt increases, the smaller your mental freedom becomes. Not physically, but psychologically. You cannot easily walk away from situations. You cannot take bold steps. You cannot explore uncertainty freely, because your future is already partially occupied by obligation. And the most powerful part is this: it doesn't feel like control. It feels like responsibility. Now combine this with something even more subtle: aspiration. From a very young age, people are shown a picture of success, a lifestyle that represents achievement, happiness, and freedom. Luxury homes, expensive cars, financial independence, status, recognition. And almost all of it is directly connected to money. Money becomes the symbol of success itself, but here is the hidden mechanism behind it. That image of success is not neutral. It is structured in a way that keeps people constantly chasing. Because if people ever feel fully satisfied, they stop consuming. And if they stop consuming, the entire system slows down. So instead of satisfaction, people are kept in a continuous state of almost there, almost successful, almost free, almost stable, but never fully arriving, and that creates a cycle. Work more, earn more, spend more, upgrade lifestyle, increase needs, repeat. It feels like progress, but it is actually repetition disguised as progress. Now look at attention. Every day you are exposed to thousands of signals, advertisements, social media content, lifestyle videos, success stories, financial goals. But notice one thing, almost all of it is connected to money in some way. This is how money controls attention, and attention controls perception, and perception controls decisions. Not because they were forced, but because they assume it must be correct if so many people appear to follow it. This is how entire societies can move in the same direction without direct instruction. Now connect all of this together. Money shapes survival. Survival shapes decisions. Decisions shape behavior. Behavior shapes identity. And identity shapes life. But none of this feels forced. None of it feels artificial. None of it feels like control. It feels like normal life. And that is the most powerful form of control that exists, because people only resist control when they can see it clearly. But when control is embedded into systems, habits, environments, expectations, and daily routines, it becomes invisible. And invisible control is the strongest form of all. But sometimes, something changes. A person begins to question. They start noticing patterns they never noticed before. They start asking simple questions like, why does money influence almost every major decision in life? Why do certain paths feel limited? Why does freedom feel conditional? And in that moment, awareness begins. Not fear, not panic, just awareness. And awareness creates distance, a kind of mental separation where you stop reacting automatically and instead start observing your thoughts, your habits, and the invisible system that has been shaping your behavior for a long time without you realizing it at all. Distance between you and automatic thinking, where every decision is no longer a reflex or a conditioned response, but something you consciously pause, analyze, and understand before allowing it to influence your actions or direction in life. You begin to observe instead of react, taking a moment before responding to situations, people, or decisions, allowing space for understanding rather than impulse, and slowly developing awareness that changes how you experience everyday life. You begin to question instead of accept, no longer taking information, systems, or expectations at face value, but instead asking why they exist, who benefits from them, and how they might be shaping your decisions in ways you never considered before. You begin to choose consciously instead of automatically, meaning your decisions are no longer driven only by habit, emotion, or pressure, but are instead guided by awareness, reflection, and a clearer understanding of consequences and intentions. The truth is, money itself is not the enemy. It is simply a neutral tool that can be used for building, creating, and exchanging value. But it becomes far more powerful when it is integrated into large systems that influence human behavior at scale. It only needs structure, a carefully designed environment, where choices are guided through systems, incentives, and patterns that quietly shape behavior over time, without needing direct instructions or enforcement from any visible authority. The real question is, how aware are you of the system you are already living inside? How much of your daily thinking is truly independent? And how much of it has been shaped by repeated exposure, necessity, and unseen structural pressure over time? Because control only works when it remains unseen, when it blends so perfectly into normal life that it no longer feels like control at all, but instead feels like routine, responsibility, and natural order that nobody questions anymore. And the moment it becomes visible, it begins to lose its grip, because awareness breaks the automatic behavior. And once you see the structure behind your choices, you can no longer fully return to the state of unconscious living you had before. And in that moment, for the first time, your choices start becoming truly your own. Not because the system disappears, but because you finally understand how to move within it consciously, instead of being moved by it unknowingly.